Hey guys, I'm Stephanie. Welcome to my health, wellness, tea, things that smell good, things that taste good, dog scratching in the background channel where I talk about whatever I feel like, and the production quality is so bad you know it's not AI. I'm just sitting here on the couch. I'm having a cup of tea. I have a rare moment alone. It's December 20th. We're getting ready for Christmas. I just want to come on, say hi, talk about a few things that are on my mind. Actually, I have quite a bit on my mind, but first let's have a sip of tea. Right now, I am drinking, it's a company called Thai Tea, which is a local West Coast company. And my friend gave this to me for Christmas. It's called Lemon Drop, and it just says, this might be the most lemony green tea you'll ever taste. It's like lemon meringue pie in a teacup. And it contains green tea, apple pieces, orange, organic lemon peel, marigold flowers, and natural flavors. So I put a little honey in it. I didn't brew it too much because it's a green tea. Let's have a sip. My David's Tea Perfect mug. It's very hot. Oh, yeah. Wow, that's really good. Okay, THAY is Thai Tea is the company. I highly recommend if you're in the West Coast area. Good tea. Okay, we are having a rare moment of calm in the rushing around, and I've been thinking about this video for a while. The last video that I posted was a bit of a downer, and that's okay. I'm leaving it up there. It was honest. It was what I was feeling in the moment. I've had a tough year, and I don't want to belabor that, but I was having one of those moments where I was just really wanting to be transparent about what I was going through. We are at the end of 2025, and I had a rough year. And I turned 50 this year, and things are just not where I wanted them to be. And we all had a lot of challenges in 2025. Like, let's face it. I am super excited to turn the page on that. I am super excited and rejuvenated. I've got this kind of, it's almost like January energy right now, like a restart energy. And I love that for this time of year. I go a little nuts this time of year in terms of just being excited about planning new things and being excited about like the possibility of growth. Because I realized, okay, we went through some tough times. Now my family's kind of in a new normal, and I want to make that new and cool. And I'm kind of just letting go of some of the old stuff from my previous life. Like, I'm just doing a lot of work around putting some things down, some baggage I've been carrying, just putting it down, refreshing. And yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys today. Wait, I took notes because I'm a little scattered. I wanted to talk first about some of the lessons I learned this year. So I went through a year where we didn't have very good finances. And honestly, there was some times when like there was no money in my bank account and I needed to buy groceries. You know those moments, like I had a lot of challenges with what my kids were going through, with taking care of older people in our life. And I think I learned a lot of lessons. Like, I think I'm on the other side of where I can look at those hard times and be like, I really learned some important lessons. And that's what I'm going to take out of it is like, I feel stronger. I feel like I've grown this year. I feel more solid in myself because I had to go through a bit of hardship. And I'm really happy that I'm in that place now. Let's see what I want to say. Okay. Lesson 1, jealousy. Okay. When you are in a hard place financially, or you're just in a hard place in general, and you're looking around, it feels like everybody around you is just going to Mexico. Everybody around you is buying a brand new car. Everybody around you is doing amazing renovations on their house, and you're somehow not enough and left behind and all the things. Okay, and we struggled with that. We struggled with bitterness and resentment. And the thing with me is that I've looked around in my life, and I know some people who are bitter and angry about how their life turned out. And I decided consciously, I don't want to be that person. Okay. The fact is that the people in my life that are having good things happen to them deserve those things. They are good people. The people I know who are doing renovations, the people I know who are traveling, they're all my friends, and I'm so freaking happy for them that they're having their high point. They're hitting a pinnacle, and I'm like, yay. And I am in a pure place of like really cheering them on and being happy for them. You know, I have a coworker that I really love at work, and she hosted our Christmas party for our workplace, and she had everybody at her house. And she was really vulnerable with me about the fact that she was just feeling like some things in her house were not the way she wanted them, and some things were like, I don't know, they don't own their home, so obviously there's certain things that you can't do, and but the thing is, you look from the outside, and this is one of the most stylish people I know who like decorates amazingly. And sure enough, when I showed up at her house, it looked like Martha Stewart had set it up. Like there was gingerbread, there was beautiful cedar boughs, and like it was stunning. It smelled like apple cider. And so for me to see that somebody else who is presenting that to the world can feel so vulnerable inside themselves about how they feel about what they have was quite a lesson for me. And I came home from her house and I walked into my house that quite frankly looks like Las Vegas, and Christmas all just exploded in it. Your view is not that bad. We're picking our angle here, but like I don't know. I'm hitting that point where like Christmas is everywhere. I have ridiculous things. I brought a couple of things to show you. First of all, I have Smurfs everywhere. I have a Smurf thing. I love them, but like I don't have small children. Like this is my decor. Someone else has like, amazing votives with fairy lights, and I've got a freaking Christmas Smurf. So, something else I want to show you is that one year I got these old Dutch wooden shoes because I have Dutch heritage on one side of my family. And Sinterklaas comes in Dutch families and puts candy in your shoe. So I painted these shoes. See, it's all like the paint, like I messed up. I ran out of room for my name. And they're like these bright colors. But we've got toys up on the mantle, from, when the kids were little, and we bought like a toy set and we still set it up. And what it is with Christmas when you're setting up your home for Christmas is that the most important thing is that you're creating a gathering place. You're creating a place that contains memories, but you're also making new memories and traditions. And the most important thing that my coworker was doing, it was not how her house looked. That's not why we were there. We weren't there to like judge her house. We were there to have a safe place that we could come together and just share a moment and share a memory, and say some nice things to each other and laugh a little bit, and have some nog or whatever. And my house is chaotic and there's stuff everywhere, and I kind of can't wait for the January declutter. But this tree behind me contains all these beautiful memories in the ornaments, and this is the place that I've created where my family is going to have our Christmas morning. And that's where the beauty is, because we sit sometimes, I don't know, we all feel so much pressure now, like YouTube, Instagram, all the social media, everyone else seems to have everything like more under control than you do. But I was talking with some friends last night. I went to a friend's house and she was awesome because I was like, can I bring an appy? She's like, no, just come. And I just came, and it was great because it was like, we just as women sat together and we got to go around in a circle and we talked about the things that you remember when you're a kid. And some of them were they're not the things you think you're going to remember. Like this one friend was telling this story about how her parents rented a VCR. This is how old we are, right? Rented a VCR, and they got to watch the Three Amigos, of all things, at Christmas. And that's like a major memory. I remember sleeping over at my aunt's house, and so many of us were sleeping over that there was no place for the cousins to sleep. So we all slept in sleeping bags under the dining room table, right? It was a bigger one than mine, but it was just on the floor. And it's like this incredible Christmas memory. That's what you're doing. That's what you're creating when you're putting all this work in. It's not going to be about whether the wrapping paper matched. It's not going to be about whether you're wearing the perfect outfit. It's going to be those kind of little things, those little accidental things that just happen from people trying to create a new memory. So I just kind of wanted to touch base on that because this time of year is hard for me, right? Like I had to have conversations with my family that were difficult. Hang on, we're transitioning to the next topic here. I'm really enjoying this tea. Thank you, friend. I had to have conversations with family because I had to spend half as much as I usually spend on Christmas this year. And so I said to my brother and my sister-in-law, like, guys, I'm not getting you a present this year, you know? We agreed to do some little tiny homemade things. So I've got some chutney that I made that I'm giving to people. But usually I'd be running around being really, really worried about, do I have something for everybody? And I'm just kind of having to let that go. And because I actually budgeted it out and I was like, Christmas trees are $75 to $100 now. Like I'm tight. Like I'm trying to focus on my core family, getting my husband and my 2 kids like one decent gift. That's what they're getting. Plus a little thing that from Santa that like I cashed in a lot of like, loyalty points I have for like little extra things and a stocking. And everybody else in my life who I dearly love, I can't afford to buy them even a $20, $25 gift because I have so many people in my life. And if I get all of them a $25 gift, I can't afford that. I can't afford to buy groceries. And isn't that the blessing? Aren't I incredibly lucky? Aren't I so full of abundance that I have this community around me, that I have so many people that I could potentially buy gifts for? And what I want to say for a minute is if what I'm saying to you is triggering to you because you're experiencing loneliness right now at this time of year, I want you to give yourself a hug and be really kind to yourself, okay? Because this time of year is very triggering in terms of relationships we have with family. There are people this year that are intentionally not in my life, and I had to make choices about that. There are people who have passed away who are not in my life, and I'm having to deal with that. There are people who I'm not as close to that I used to be close to, and I'm feeling guilt about that. And we all have all of this swirling around. Please be kind to yourself. You are not going to get this time of year perfect. This is a time about, like, if we go to pre-Christian pagan times, this is a time about going through darkness and rest. The world is resting. We're focusing on lighting up lights to get ourselves through the darkness. So if you are going through the darkness right now, please light some kind of light for yourself and remember that you are about to experience a renewal and you might have to put some old things away, but you have hope, okay? So I just want to say that because I know so many people, especially at our age, who are not just dealing with kids now, maybe older kids, but maybe caring for elders. And that's a huge thing, right? It's like you're looking at, I've got multiple people in my life now who are over 80 and really need us. And it's exhausting and it's trying, and you're going through all of this care for others. And one thing that I had to recognize is I was not caring for myself within that. So let me give you an example. I kind of realized the other day, I'm really bad. This is gross and I'm confessing too much, but I was having a hard time remembering to take a shower because I live in a house with 5 adults and somebody's always in. We have one bathroom. We have a tenant, so he has a bathroom and he's a good friend of ours. He's just in a tiny little suite downstairs. So he has to shower, and then there's 4 adults upstairs, and we have to shower. And at some point I will find that somewhere in other people taking their showers, there's no hot water left for me. And I can't shower, and my hair feels greasy and disgusting. Or I've forgotten to. I've gotten so busy running around, getting groceries, doing the things, I've forgotten to shower. And that is kind of a metaphor for what I went through this past year, is that I was so busy being like, my entire paycheck is going to just keeping this family afloat. I get nothing for myself. I couldn't afford to go get a haircut anymore. I had to just put a pause on buying tea and candles and all those stupid little things that made me happy. And somewhere in there, you kind of realize that no matter how hard your life is, you have to find a way to give yourself a little bit of treat and a little bit of kindness, because especially when you're an adult and other people are depending on you, and you don't necessarily have people who are taking care of you, you're taking care of everybody else. No one's going to remind you to take that shower, you guys. You'll go days and no one will notice because everyone's wrapped up in themselves and you have got to shower. So along those lines, I am making the thumbnail of this video a candle, my favorite candle. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is one of my favorite candles. This is Bath and Body Works Bright Christmas Morning. It's like kind of a mimosa, orange juice, really happy scent, and I really associate it with Christmas. This one's from last year, but I let myself go and shop at Candle Day this year, because candles go on sale in Canada. They're like $12.95, but it's also just kind of it's this really fun sale because they release a ton of scents. And I'll probably do a video where I talk about some of what I got. I had to let myself do that, okay? I had to let myself buy a couple of damn candles and remind myself to take a shower and start to remind myself that I need to start exercising again. Like, I was not taking care of myself because I was so stressed out. And that is something that I want to change in this new year, is I'm actually important as well. Okay? You guys are actually important as well as all the people you're taking care of, as all the people that you're giving gifts to. And it's hard because we're in this season that's about giving. And I get swirled up in this, like, this should be a time I'm giving, not thinking about myself, and that's very true. But it is okay to give to yourself as well. It is okay, because when you give to yourself, I know you've heard this a million times, but you fill your own cup and then you come from a better place of self-esteem. I found that my self-esteem was eroding because I wasn't treating myself like I was worth it. And you have to treat yourself like you're worth it. You have to treat yourself like you are also worth having things in your life. I did a new moon ritual because I'm witchy, apparently. Taking a sip of tea. Here's to being witchy. I did a new moon ritual last month. And in the new moon, you try and think about manifesting things that you want in your life. And I asked the moon and the universe and all the things. I asked her to bring me abundance in whatever form that looked like. I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask to win the lottery. I didn't ask for that. I asked for abundance in whatever form felt right for me. And within 24 hours, I was sitting in somebody's office at work and they were like, "Oh, I know you like tea and I have this tea and, it's not my favorite and I'm wondering if you would like this tea." And gave me like one of my favorite teas, gave me a David's tea packet. And then right after that, like, this happens to me a lot when I'm trying to manifest abundance. A toonie just fell out of my pocket. I didn't know I had a toonie in there. Money just shows up. And then our tenant said he won at his raffle for his work party, and he left me 3 bottles of wine downstairs, wrapped up for us as a thank you. And what started to happen is that it's not like I didn't have that abundance in my life, but when you start to focus on abundance instead of what you lack, you start to see it because it's everywhere. And the abundance isn't the things that I was receiving. It's not the stuff. The abundance was the kindness of the people around me. And that's what Christmas is about, you guys. Sorry to get all deep and metaphysical, but what Christmas celebrates is not the stuff you get or what you give, it's the community. And when our friend got something from his workplace, his first instinct was to give to somebody else. And when I receive from others now, it reminds me to give to others. So usually, you know, we at work, we used to, when finances were better, we used to like give a lot more to each other. But this year I got from Costco just like one of those packets of the individually wrapped turtles chocolates, and just cut up some old Christmas cards and like wrote people little notes. And I was just like, Merry Christmas, and here's a turtle, right? Like that doesn't cost you 20 cents to do. And I put them in everybody's office. And then all day people were popping their head out and they're like, thanks, Stephanie. Like, thanks for remembering me. And it felt so good. And I kind of just, the gift that I've gotten from this year is that you don't need a lot of money. What you need is appreciation, I guess is what I'm trying to say ultimately. But you need to appreciate yourself as well. You need to show kindness to yourself, and you need to stand up for yourself, and you need to set boundaries where you need to set them. And yeah, that's kind of what's on my mind. Let's see what else is on my mind. Okay. Let's talk about moving forward. I've already talked for 22 minutes. Brutal. I was trying to make this a short one. Where's this channel going in the new year? Okay. What I am going through, first of all, is a massive kind of renewal. I freaked out a couple of weeks ago and kind of went through, it was almost like an overnight sort of like mind shift. And I want to do some videos about that and talk about it. I ended up losing, like I've lost almost 10 pounds. Want to talk about that. That's another video. I've come up with 3 words that are shaping my next year and what my intentions are for next year. So I want to talk about those and do an intention setting New Year's kind of video. Part of that is really, really like my mother-in-law right now is having to temporarily move out of her place and has 40 years of stuff. And if you are middle-aged and you have a parent that is like, hey, every time you come over, here's some more stuff. It's from 40 years ago and it's just been sitting in a box. You start to get like a bit of an eye twitch and you're like, I'm happy she's decluttering and I'm helping her do it. And it's a great reset for her. But in my 51st year, when I turned 51, it is time to go through and look at the stuff I've accumulated over 50 years and really think about psychically, not just in terms of stuff, but like psychically, what I can no longer tolerate being in my space, what I have enjoyed and loved, but needs to now be moved along. I need to start totally reframing who this next person is. I saw, and I apologize, gosh, I'm not able to credit, I saw a video on YouTube and I'm not able to credit who it is. So I apologize. I'm not stealing your idea. I'm quoting you, but somebody was talking about the idea that our life as, especially as women, is divided into 3 periods, right? Maiden, mother, and then crone. You go right from mother to crone. And some of us, mother is different in terms of it's really being like a caregiver or somebody who's really like being a good friend to everybody and caring for others. So not everybody has to have children. So let's get that out of the way. But there is sort of a stage of your life when you are more outwardly focused or community focused and taking care of others. She suggests actually between motherhood and cronehood, when you are withered up and like sitting in a rocking chair, wrinkly as an old apple. Somewhere in between there, there's something that she called the sovereign woman. And I love that idea, because this is the period when you have now done the caregiving, you have now built a life, and you are not quite ready to be the ancient crone, but now you have built a sense of self-awareness, self-confidence, self-care, and autonomy that allows you to be in a period of your life where you are self-actualizing. And she described it as being like a queen or an empress or a sovereign. And so I guess I'm going to enter my sovereign phase with this channel, and we're going to talk about some of that. I would love to come along and talk about the tea I allow myself to have, talk about the candles that I'm burning. So I'm still going to do some of that, but I'm going to talk about some other things, and as usual, just process my feelings here on the internet for total strangers. So I'm going to leave it at that. I truly wish all of you guys a wonderful end to an era and a new beginning. Tomorrow is the darkest day, but then we come back, and the shoots start springing out of the earth, and they're full of hope and newness. And we do not have to continue telling the story that we told last year. We can tell a new story. So I hope that story includes a fabulous Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Happy holidays, everybody. Take care.